Hello everyone, and thanks for stopping by to Scrap and Craft with Terry. Today we're going to make some fancy envelope pockets, and I'm just using a printable. You can use scrapbook paper or whatever you want. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you like my video, I just ask that you give me a thumbs up and check out my other ones. Now this one is a 6 3/4 inch square. My other ones are 7 inches. I had to cut this one a little bit smaller because when I cut it the first time, I didn't cut it even. So I cut it just a little bit smaller. So I printed both sides so my top flap would have some decoration to it also. So all I did was folded my paper in half, made my little crease, then I folded my paper up and I made another little crease, or you can do your rulers edge to edge, and then I just made the little mark in the center. Now I marked this one as the bottom because if you have a directional paper, now this paper goes every which way, so it doesn't really matter, but I liked my 15 cents to be going the wrong or the right way. And this was kind of going upside down, but it doesn't matter. Like I say, it's going every which way. And the postmark here was about so-so. So this is going down the right way. But when I do these, I'm not bringing my flap down, I'm leaving my flap up. You can bring your flap down if you want your pocket to be closed. I'm leaving my pockets open, but you can do it however you want. So you just fold your little point into the center, flatten it down. If you haven't made envelopes before, a lot of people use envelope punch boards. It's really not hard. You just have to have a perfect square. If it's off just a little bit, your envelope will be off just a little bit. Then, generally on an envelope, you'll fold it up farther. I'm folding it up so my point is just past these because I want a lot of room in my pocket. So I'm not folding it up far. I'm folding it up just enough that I have some of this paper that I can put glue on this edge and hold my pocket shut. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this. We have these little tiny corners that I'm going to cut out to take the bulk out of it. And if you don't want to make an envelope, you could just find an envelope of the size that you like, and you can just decorate it. Let me see my bottom. And then that'll fold up like that, and that takes that bulk out of there. Okay, now I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, and I don't want to go clear up to here. Let me just put my glue on here. Because I don't want to go past that. If I do, then I'm taking a chance of gluing my envelope shut. And there we go. Now this point you can either leave or you can cut it off. I don't mind the point being there. I think it's just fine. So now we're going to decorate it. Oh, before I closed it, I was going to ink it. We'll see how I am. I have blue in my decorations, and I want around my corner. I have blue in my decorations, so I'm going to ink it with blue ink. So I just won't have these edges inked, but that's okay. I don't mind. And if you don't want to ink, you don't have to. One of them that I made, I didn't ink, and I think it looks good. Now, if you think you're going to fold your flap down, then you'll want to do your crease here. Fold it over and crease it so it comes down however far. And then you can ink the edge of your crease, but you can also ink the outside of your flap. And then my idea for this is to glue it onto the page. So you have fancy paper on the back. So if you want to be able to see your fancy paper too, you could always do a hinge. And this doesn't fit my envelope. I just took a piece of paper and folded it in half. Your folded edge would go on the outside, and you would glue your envelope to the edge of your hinge. Then, when you opened it up, when you flipped it over, then you would be able to see the back of your envelope. And you could have another pocket back here. You could have writing space back here, whatever you prefer. So there's numerous ways to use these. I just thought it was a cute idea. So on the bottom, and it's a fast project, you could make quite a few of these in just a little while. You just determine the size that you want, and what I do with envelopes, I'll show you in just a second. Let me put this on so it doesn't dry. I put some lace at the bottom, and I just want it to hang off a little tiny bit. And cut this. Okay, so when I'm doing an envelope, I just use a piece of paper. I cut it to a size, whatever the size might be. And this was a 7-inch, this was a 7-inch square. I wrote 7-inch envelope, but it's a 7-inch square. And that's how I come up with this size. Oh, I'm dragging all my stuff over here. So the envelope, let me see, is like 4 3/4, and I'm going to do it from this fold down. Would be about 4 5/8. With the flap up, it's about, I'd say 3 7/8 or 6 7/8. So if you wanted smaller, envelopes, you know, just start from your bigger one and then work down 1/2-inch increments or inch increments, whatever. Just make sure it's a square, And then that gives you different size envelopes that you would want. I hope I'm explaining it right. And that's how I come up with my different envelopes. So if you don't have the envelope punch board, you don't have to worry about it because you can still make envelopes. Okay, so up top here, I'm going to have a flower and make pretty things. And on this side, I'm going to have this flower. Now, if it comes up above this a little bit, it's not going to matter. It'll be just fine. Just make sure you don't glue it down. And then I'm just going to tuck this flower under here somehow, just so it gives me a little bit more flower on that side. And over here, I'm going to have some blue flowers. And up here with my flower, I'm going to have a couple leaves. And these are all just printables. So let me just ink around these a little bit. I was inking other stuff and I was going to have the flowers all inked, and well, I guess I forgot. So I don't overly ink them generally anyway. Just highlight the edges a little bit. Might tone down a little bit of the white, but that's all I do. When it comes to fussy cutting, I'm not a real good fussy cutter. I try not to cut too close, because then I cut the flower or the butterfly off, whatever I'm trying to cut. So I generally have white edges, but them white edges I don't think matter much at all. Like I say, you can just use your ink and just tone it down a little bit. Some people will cut all of this out as if they had a die machine. No, that's too much. It would be nice if you had that die machine, but I don't have any of that stuff, so I cut it by hand, and it comes out to the best of my ability. If I don't like it, well, then I can throw it away or cut some more off. Oh, I just want to trim my corners a little tiny bit. So how's everyone doing today? Hopefully still braving the heat. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and start gluing this stuff down. Make sure my glue isn't clogged up. I just thought that this would be something different, and I like to make pockets, but I'm liking using envelopes lately again. Seems like go through spells on what you use, you know. Probably should have used Fabri-Tac in this part because I don't always think paper sticks real good to lace with art glitter glue. Now, how do I want this? I think I'm just going to go underneath here, put a little glue, put these together. Let's see how that looks. I think that looks good. So I sat last night cutting my flowers out for this. I put some up to the edge of that, but I don't want that to touch back here because it'll glue my envelope shut. Some of these I could cut a little closer if I really wanted to take the time, but like I said, I don't really think that white bothers me at all. Just depends on what your likes are. Now I have to stick my leaves under there before this glues down all the way. Hopefully I'm doing everything on the camera and not off of it. Some of these little leaves I just cut off of another flower. Because when you're doing it, if you need just some little thing, look and see what you got and just cut it out. Now when I do this, because I don't have my crease here, I just don't want to go down below this, because if I was to fold that, then it might get folded in the crease. So we're going to make pretty things. Okay, and I think that's cute. So for inside, I just picked a few things. Just some little journal papers. And you can fit a lot in these envelopes. A full postcard. And then, I like this. I like the graph paper design behind it. Let me see. I guess the red line probably goes over here, so maybe that's the right side. But, nice little tag. So we'll stick that down in there. Let me see, I don't want it to cover over my thing, so I might have to cut some of that off. I think I'll cut it just before the red line. And then I can use this as something else. And then that can go in there. Get up there. And that can go down there. And then we'll just bring that up a little bit. So isn't that cute? So on your page, if you left the whole thing up and you had, now this is just 8 by 11.5 paper folded in half. So if that was the size page you was using, that's what it would look like on your page. And then like I say, if you was going to do this, then you would just have it on the back. And then you could just fold it out. And on your page, you would have journal space. You could cover this up with whatever kind of paper you wanted. So I think that would make a pretty journal page. What do you think? Right. Now I have this one, and it's already folded, it's already inked. I'm going to just erase this off, and this is the 7-inch square. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this. I figured you've seen me put one together, so you didn't have to see me do another one. So we're just going to go ahead and glue this and fold it and decorate it. And again, I'm leaving the little point there. I already rounded my corner. Now you could you could round this little point too if you wanted that rounded. So now on the front of this, I'm going to do these decorations, and I'm using the same lace on all of them. You could do ribbon lace. A lot of them make the paper ruffles. You could use paper ruffles. When I make my paper ruffles, well, they're just glued. I guess maybe some think that the ones with the stitching on them is fancier. I don't know, and that might be, but I have a sewing machine and I used to sew all the time, and I just guess I don't want to sew anymore. But maybe one of these days I'll drag it out and do something with it. We'll see. Maybe I'll drag it out one of these days and sew a paper ruffle. But don't wait for it. Okay, now on this one, we're going to have these pretty little flowers over here. Well, I didn't ink any of this stuff. Let me just, do I need to ink this? Yeah. I didn't ink any of these. Let me just ink around them real quick. Okay, and then let me see what we have here. And then this one is going to go up here. Now, like I said, if you want to have your pocket closed, make sure when you're folding all of these, make sure you're folding your top flap down. And then if you fold your top flap down and you want it to be closed, you could just use Velcro, or put some kind of, or you could have a string tie or something on here. Then when you want to see what's in your pocket, then you would just open your pocket up. But you can still have this flap decorated. And I think the ones that would be closed would be cute also, because then you could have other stuff on your page with it. For this video, though, I'm just going to leave them open. Now the color on this little envelope didn't show up real good, so I just went over it with a brown colored pencil. That's all I did. And I'm going to put this down here. I like these envelopes with the flowers in. And we have a little blue butterfly. I chose a blue butterfly because there's blue flowers in here. And then let me cut off these little corners. And this one says happiness. And then that's going to go above this one. So we're going to put happiness up there, then we're going to glue this on. So is anybody making anything special? Been watching some older videos from different Christmases in July. Last year I didn't do too much Christmas in July. The year before I did. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't decided that yet. I might do a few things, but we'll have to see. It just doesn't seem like next weekend is the 4th of July. This year is passing by really, really fast, seems like. Then the other day on the news, they were talking about stores that are advertising back to school clothes and stuff like that. I mean, you know, these kids just got out of school. Let them enjoy it for a little while. There's our little butterfly. And then I'm going to put this up there first. And you can decorate these as much or as little as you want. You can have all of your envelopes folded and glued and not decorated until you're ready to use them also. And that would be a quick way of having envelope pockets ready for your journals. I think that's a really good idea. I could sit down and make these things all day long. It's fun. So I think that's cute. I like the flowers. So in this one, I have this as a journal paper. Put that in there. You can put anything in, anything in them that you want. I thought this yellow was kind of bright, but I don't know. We'll put that in there anyway. So that can go down in there. And then this is just made to look torn. So I just kind of cut jaggedy around it. And that can go in there. So we have another pocket. And these can be pulled up a little farther, you know, so you can see them a little bit. So there we go. So what do you think? Now I also had these two made in advance. I did this one. Wait a minute, I already showed you that one. I just did this one. I did this one. This says create from within, and then I just put a faux postcard in, another one of these journal tags, and just like a letter put in there. And I just think they all turned out really, really cute. Maybe I ought to put this in front. Let that one be down lower. There. And then put this one in here. Something like that. You can put them numerous ways. So there's that one. And then this one I thought was really cute. I did with mushrooms. Almost reminds me of fall. And I love fall. But this one is whimsical and crafty. We have a little ladybug, a little nut, and our mushrooms. And then in this one, I used this journal paper. And then I used this mason jar. And the paper on this background is yellow. I love this. So I thought I'd add a couple yellow things. And then another postcard. So that's what we have. So what do you think? Let me know down in the comments if you liked them. And do you think you might make some? And I hope you come back to see my next video, whatever that might be. See what we can get into. And until then, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting. Bye for now.